Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Schuster. And a contribution there which emphasised also that the same points of transport, of greenery, of environmental quality, but also you talked about the importance of social and ethnic diversity as a source of innovation and creativity as well, which are a very interesting additional point. I'd like very quickly to take 4 points from the audience, and these will not be speeches, please. 1 question, 1 point. You're first, sir. There's a microphone just here. There's a gentleman up there. If the second microphone could go to him, please. Yes, please, sir.
Good morning. My name is William Lai. I'm a director of a public company listed in Australia. My question is directed to Minister Ma and equally applicable to the mayors of Montreal and Stuttgart. As your cities begin to grow in population, obviously the people begin to grow older and there's an aging population issue. What's the scope of, or what's the policy in your cities regarding aging population? Is there scope for investment, and would it be acceptable?
Great. An excellent question. Thank you very much. The gentleman up there, you think he has the microphone? Does he? No, please take the microphone because we're being televised. So, can I have just indicate the next question from this side of the room? No? Okay. Yes, please, sir.
For Mayor Tremblay, what exactly are you doing in terms of public transportation?
Another point, somebody else? A lady down here at the front, please. If you could bring the microphone down. Thank you.
Carmela Serfati, Francisel Chamber of Commerce and Adest Design and Architecture. I would like the speakers to rate the most important issues on the environmental discussion.
There's a gentleman at the back there, please, if you could get him the microphone with the blue tie.
Bill Watts from Max Fordham LLP. One of the main things that we've come across when trying to turn high-rise, dense population into inclusive spaces is as much to do with social issues as it is to do with space.
Great, thank you very much. So the first question was about aging populations. The second question was about transport improvements in Montreal. The third question about rating or grading the really key features of environmental improvements in cities. And then the fourth question asking how can improvements in the environment actually have beneficial effects on social challenges. And gentlemen, what I would like to do is ask you to don't answer all of the questions, take 1 or 2 that you find interesting, and please just answer for a couple of minutes and then we'll begin the second round. Okay. Minister.
Well, I think aging is one of the major considerations going forward in planning our city. The whole issue of social integration, racial harmony, social development of our high-rise estates. So I think that's how important these issues are, and we are addressing them at the highest levels.
Thank you very much, Minister. Mayor Tremblay?
Yes, if you recall, I mentioned that it's very important to have an urban plan and design that integrates economy development, environmental issues, housing, and public transit. So the 4 questions that are asked are interdependent. You have to solve them all at the same time. In asking, what do we do for public transit? Now, public transit, you can't isolate public transit and say because you're in a city that you will solve the problem alone. We have an objective of increasing the services of our public transit by 12% and increasing the ridership by 8%. All these points that you're mentioning are very important because when we talk about quality of place and quality of life, this is fundamental for people to locate in cities and to enjoy the quality of life of our cities.
And we wish you and all the other Canadian mayors every success with this campaign. Yeah. Dr. Schuster, which questions would you like to pick up?
Naturally, we are living in an aging population, and therefore it's important to invest in public transport systems to have a living city.
Thank you very much, Dr. Schuster. Now, colleagues, we did start a little bit late, but we have slowed down a bit, so we will be finishing in about 15 minutes for those of you who have other appointments to go to, so that will be just over 1 hour, so please do bear with us. Minister and Mayors, what I'm going to ask you to do is to pick up now the second question we wanted to discuss, but also to use your contribution here, in a sense, as a conclusion of the themes, and then we'll have a round-up at the end. The second question we wanted to look at was in attracting investment to improve quality of place and quality of life. What are the tools that will attract investment, and how can public and private sector work together? And Dr. Schuster, we're going to ask you to speak first.
At the end of the day, I think these three elements: technology development to promote talents and to have an open, tolerant city is, for me, a key for a good development, a good economic and social development. About environmental, we spoke.
Thank you very much indeed. So Stuttgart is banking on the long-term competitive advantage of diversity as a driver for the city, and it sounds to me like that's going to be a very exciting strategy. Minister Ma, what for you are the key tools that will attract investment for quality of life and quality of place?
Yeah.
Please.
I think basically here I want to talk about why you should invest in Asia, and specifically in Asia, why you should invest in Singapore. The message really is we are open for business and we welcome private investors to Singapore, and when you come to Singapore, you know that the rules are clear, they are transparent, the rule of law is paramount, and your money is safe, and it will make you good money in Singapore. So please talk to us later on.
Minister, thank you very much indeed. And this strategy to be the most open city in the world is indeed, I think, a very compelling strategy as well. Mayor Tremblay, please.
So you won't be surprised that if, like Stuttgart in Singapore, we have a very clear vision of what we want to do. And I think this is what's really important, because you have to put yourself in the place of an investor, a promoter. He doesn't know much about your city. He comes to MIPIM, he finds out, he sees the images, he sees the representations, but you have to deliver what you're saying you're going to do, and to balance that with the values that we all share as citizens of the world. So that's why I'm proud to be here with the colleague mayors and share values about World Mayors for Peace, World Mayors for Climate Change, and also World Mayors for the development of a safe environment for the future of our citizens and the futures of the citizens of the world. Thank you very much.
Well, we posed the challenge, can these three cities, these three leading world cities, produce something distinctive in terms of a quality of place, a quality of life that will give them a long-term advantage in the global economy? And the resounding answer from the three leaders, of course, is yes. If you listen to what they've said today, they've all emphasized, indeed in their own way, that being the size and the diversity and the scale that these cities are, unlike perhaps the mega cities, actually they have advantages in terms of innovation, in terms of quality of life, in terms of the attractiveness, and in terms of the ability to get the job done. So as we look to the 21st century expanding and unfolding in its particular way, it's going to be very interesting to look at how cities like Singapore, like Montreal, like Stuttgart, these leading, faster growing world cities will perform. And I'm sure that the leadership of these cities will be absolutely critical in maintaining that culture of innovation, of competitive advantage, of diversity and openness that the Minister and the mayors have spoken about. My last duty is to ask you to join with me in thanking Minister Ma, Mayor Tremblay and Mayor Schuster. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for a most inspiring conversation. Sure.